I'm a 30-year-old woman living alone in a mid to lower income area. There's some crime in my town, but I don't live in a ghetto. Still, sometimes I do feel a little uncomfortable. I don't know a lot of my neighbors too well, other than my next door neighbors, who are both nice. The houses across the street are a different story. I like knowing my neighbors because it makes me feel a little safer living alone. I'm a big scaredy cat, so my biggest fears of living alone came true when one night I was in bed trying to fall asleep. It was pretty late on a work night, past 11. I heard the leaves slightly crunching on the side of the house. Human or not, I couldn't tell. There are a lot of cats and raccoons walking around here at night. The following night, I was awoken to something outside my window, like a singular crack or tap. It must have been the window frame. It was October, so I still had the windows open for air. So I guess out of pure instincts, I said, "Who's there?" I didn't hear anything after that. I got up and lifted my blind, and no one was outside. 2 nights in a row of this, I was starting to think I was getting paranoid over the smallest things, like regular house noises. So I tried to fall back asleep, but that same night, I woke up again. This time to some scratching or scraping sound from the backyard. I heard it through the window. I got up from my bed and went out to the little living space by the back door. I heard the clicking louder now. It was right outside the sliding door. I turned on the light in the living space, and then the sound stopped. I went over to the sliding door, which is covered by a sliding curtain. I was so scared to pull it, expecting to see someone, but when I yanked it open like a band-aid, no one was there. I flicked on the backyard light and slid open the door. I was relieved to see no one out there, including raccoons or some other pests. I listened to the crickets for a minute, then heard something in my tiny yard. Something rustling in the bush. I looked at the bushes. They're too thick to really see anything, but they're definitely a good place for someone to hide. And if that sound wasn't a raccoon or possum, I didn't want to know what it was. I went back inside. I made sure everything was locked. I went back to my room and even locked my bedroom door. After about 10 minutes of laying in my bed, there was a knock at my front door this time. I was starting to freak out now. I ignored it and stayed in my bed. No one should be knocking this late at night. If it happened again, I'd call 911. It didn't happen again. I somehow fell asleep eventually after that. The next day, I went straight to Best Buy with my brother, and he helped me pick out a doorbell camera and a security camera set. He helped me install both of them, the doorbell camera in the front and the other cameras in the back, both in low-key spots. My brother also spent the night that night to make me feel better. He slept in the guest bedroom. We were both in our own beds trying to sleep when I got an alert on my phone, motion detected on my property. I opened the Ring app and I screamed because there was someone in the black and white video trying to pick the lock to the back door of my house. I woke up my brother and showed him the video, and he burst out of the bed and without shoes or socks on, ran out into the backyard ready to kill someone. But my scream chased the person away, which we saw while playing the video back. My brother screamed outside my yard to never come back as loud as he could, and undoubtedly, the person trying to break in heard it. We couldn't identify the man's face. He had a hood over his head and was wearing all dark clothing, but not in a single frame could we see his face. He was also wearing gloves, which meant he left no fingerprints. We called the police, even knowing there wasn't much they could do. It just felt like we needed to have them come to keep a lookout. After that night, nothing similar ever happened again. Not to toot my own horn, but I am on the more attractive side, and what really scares me is the possibility that this was someone who knew who I am, a young single woman living alone in a house. It makes me wonder if it's possible that this was someone who lives on my street, one of my neighbors. I guess I'll never know.